Okay, why isn't this working? There it is. Hmm. Still not working, even though it says it's working. This is not treats for kitties. Okay, you have to be on your good behavior when I'm teaching. Okay, you cannot come up on the desk. All right, let's get some announcements made. Finn, you're not supposed to be by the computer. I told you 5 times already. You can't be here. You don't know Blender, okay? You don't know Blender, and the people want to learn Blender. Okay? If they want to learn about cat treats, then you could join, okay? But you really gotta listen. Stop coming up on my desk, okay? You gotta go lay down somewhere in the sun. All right? Are you looking at Fred Elf? Are you watching Fred Elf dance? Yeah, Fred is nice. It's a cat. Do you see that tail? Okay, you gotta go and do your thing. I'm the human. Okay? I'm the human. I'm the one that knows about this stuff. Trust me. Okay. Right out of the building, run for Decentraland. Sorry about my cat. He wants to teach today. My cat. Oh no. I thought he was gonna attack me from behind. My kitty likes to help, and he's been trying to get up on my desk by my computer like 5 times this morning. So he's so helpful. But now he's gonna go pout. We could just have a show where we just watch him the entire time. That would be good too. All right. How about you guys? Oh, and Fred, my cat, was watching you dance. He was just like looking at you. I don't know what he thought. Well, maybe he was like looking at the snowflakes too. I don't know. But he thought that was cool. All right. I'm gonna get going here. Oh, hi Jake. Welcome, welcome. Ooh, I'll get a cool shot of like going around. I'm actually gonna go run away and come back so that my stream works. I'm gonna go down here to hockey and just see if that's far enough away. Hockey was so fun. Like literally smiling. I was smiling so much. Alright, so this should refresh my screen. We'll run over to Miguel's. That's usually a good way to see if it works. And it does. Alright, coming back. Oh boy, there's a dinosaur. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's scary. I can hear my voice. That's also scary. So let me turn that down. Okay, the stream looks like it's working. I'm gonna come up there and we can get started. So last week didn't go so well. Um, I was at my mom's and her Wi-Fi, I don't know. I mean, it's not bad, I guess. She's closer to the city than I am, but it was not enough to keep it going. So we just rain checked it, came back this week. The OP badge. So Sin and I did some land adjustments, and so um, I can't deploy. I couldn't redeploy this scene this morning because Sin has to just give me power for all his land before I can redeploy. So the OP badge also, I had it out last week, and so I think everybody, you probably got it last week if you were here. If not, you can still get the badge right now is the main Winterfest badge. So you can get that one if you want. Let me check the stream, make sure the stream is there. Oh, and thank you everybody that's on YouTube listening in. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get started right away. Today, I'm excited for this one. I mean, I'm excited for every day, but this one is gonna be kind of cool because we're gonna go into Blender and we're going to talk about like how to make a club with basically one shape, the hexagon, because like, I don't know, I mean, not like the hexagon is super cool, but it's cool enough. So if you're new here, thank you for joining. I do this class every Tuesday, 9 o'clock my time. Little bit different time depending on where you are. And this is just for like, if you're a new builder and want to learn. We started with really simple things in the Creator Hub and we've kind of added more to it. So if some of this is too advanced, I do have all these videos on YouTube. You can go back through and like start at the beginning and work your way up. I don't want to move too fast that anybody, feels like they're lost. Blender there is a lot to it, but I'm so impressed. I'm just going to shout out Fancy, who's just been killing it with Blender, with what they're learning. So we're just gonna keep building, guys. And if you have questions, it's a little hard for me to see it while I'm going, so I'll go back through the chat at the end. If you have questions, I'll go back through and look. This is recorded and it'll be on YouTube, so if you're ever like, I don't know, like this is too much, you can just go back through and rewind and, just go from there. One thing about what I want to do today is talk about like inspiration of how the heck we even get started building a venue for Decentraland, because like for me, I get a little overwhelmed and scared of like starting a new project because I'm like, I don't know, should this thing be like bright pink or should it be dark blue? Like, should it be up in the sky or should it be like super cool and down low? Like that inspiration to start, I think, is a big barrier for a lot of people. So what I want to do is go in and hopefully my stream sounds better today. I know it sounds like I'm using a voice changer on YouTube. I'm not. It's just like I don't know. Like I had the audio settings. I think I figured it out. So hopefully it works better. And my cats are deciding to be like go to war with each other behind me. So hopefully I don't get attacked or hear them too much. Okay, so this is what I want to start with, and this is like inspiration. So I did have the inspiration, just basically a hexagon, cyberpunk. Boom. Those two things I put into AI. What is it? It's not ChatGPT. It's a different one. And I was like, make me a cyberpunk building hexagon. Didn't even put a color theme, but for some reason, AI always makes cyberpunk like pink and teal. Like you gotta really force it to do green or some other colors. And these are the ones that it came up with. These are my favorites. So I just took them and put them in an image, like a paint image, just so I could show you guys. But this is how I get started on something. So if you're going to build a build and you're like, yeah, I want the coolest cyberpunk club, but you don't know how to get started, I would just start putting your prompt into AI, whatever it is, and just start like saying, hey, I want a club. Like you'll get at least for mine, you'll get so many that don't work for your aesthetic. And mine is, I gotta look it up. Photoleap is what I use. Um, so most of what I find is like, nope, nope, nope. But then all of a sudden I'll find one and I'm like, this one right here with the name Hex, like repeating. I was like, yeah, it's simple. It's like cool. Like, let's just call it the Hex Club, and like, it doesn't have to be super like deep. It's kind of cool. Like Hex is like a witch, spell. It's kind of cool. The shape is really simple. And then I kept going, and then I was like, oh yeah, I love the idea, like over here on the left, that there's like a balcony, right? And then it's kind of like sideways up here. That looks cool. But then I like this middle one, how it's got a little bit of light coming through. And then this over here on the right, it's like, yeah, this is getting to be more of what I'm like looking for. And then these windows that you can see through to the next side that are like, they're deeper, they're recessed. That really, I like that. Like if you were coming up to this club, you can see inside it, you can see people dancing, but you're not in the club yet. You kind of have that like, I don't know, environmental ambiance. It's just fun to say that word. And then this one's kind of cool because it's asymmetrical. That would be really easy to do with like the extruding tool. And then this one down here in the lower left, I thought this one was really cool because it's like, boom, hexagon in your face, like really, I would say like strong and formidable. Like that's kind of like the vibe. I don't know. I like that. Sometimes I can't even describe what it is that I'm looking for. It's just like that feeling, and I think that for new users, like new builders getting started, if you're not sure what you're going to build, I think that this is kind of a way to start guiding you. And you might come up with like 20 images that you like, and then you have to figure out which one of those 20 are you going to like let guide you. And I think that's the hardest part. Once you kind of have an idea and you can go from there, I believe it gets a lot easier. And then also you can do like images. My AI that I use, Photoleap, it kind of sucks. It'll say hex, but it'll also say a whole bunch of other words that like it doesn't. If you tell it I want it just say hex, it'll like, yeah, give you a bunch of stuff. So to start, we're gonna go over to Blender, and always I'm gonna just let you know that I'm on version 4.4.3. If you look up here in the upper left, that is the newest version. If you see things that are different, you might not have the newest version. I would always update just to kind of be on the same page and not to have any problems if you have an older version. And then here we are. When we start, we're always going to have a page that looks like this. I'm going to use the middle scroll wheel to move around, and then I'm just going to highlight with the left scroll wheel, X, and delete those. I do not need those. That's not part of the program. I don't even need this box. So I'm going to click on it, X, delete that. But I do need, in my brain, the fly paper to know how big am I working with here. So always to start my scene, I'm going to do Shift A. I'm going to go Mesh over to Plane. And then before I touch anything, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make this 16. And that is the size of one parcel of land in Decentraland. And so when I'm in Blender, in order for my brain to not go absolutely crazy with how big I'm building, this is how I can tell. And I had somebody ask this week, how do you know how big a human is in a scene? And I think generally, like if you hit Shift A, you add a cube. But let me just do that again. Shift A, cube, without doing anything. I haven't messed with it. That's 2 meters tall. And for us Americans, I know it's hard, you guys. I know it's hard. But there's 3 meters, or 3 feet in a meter. So 2 times 3 equals 6. Whew, that is hard. Our teachers promised us we'd use these skills, so I'm glad to be putting them to good use. So essentially, a default cube is about the size of a 6-foot person. And I don't even know if avatars are 6 feet, but just to give yourself a little space, that's like a person. You could like put a little head on that, or I don't know, whatever you want, just to kind of know to begin with like how big it's going to be. For the sake of this project, I kind of want to make it bigger than one parcel of land. So I might just make two of these. And I'm going to hit Shift, duplicate, and move it over here. I might change that later, but I want to give myself a little bit of room to work with. I usually work on one piece of land. Today I want to do two pieces of land. All right, so I'm actually going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get my hex in here because this whole thing is about the hex, the hexagon. I actually wanted to make it an octagon, but then I was like, no, like, because the pictures that I have, the octagon looks better. But I'm like, no, no, no. We got to stick with the hex theme. So, Shift A, you're going to come over here to a cylinder, click that, and you'll see it's really big. So over here on the vertices, I'm just going to change it to 6. And that gives me my hex. And that shape right there is the shape that's, in my mind, going to guide this entire process, because I want to stick with this hex theme. I really want to make like a cyberpunk, kind of like an area. And so I want to make like different buildings that would go into it. Okay, but now I have to decide, do I go like left, right? Do I go vertical or on the side? This is kind of as much as I've really like come up with, because I like to build with you on as I'm going. I don't want to build it all in advance. But yeah, but because it's fun just to kind of see what happens. I did have something that was hold on. No, okay, okay. I did have like a texture on here that looked cyberpunky, and that's what I used for like the beginning of this, like the thumbnail. And now I have to decide, do I want to do like extrude or do I want to have a nice texture on there? So I think I want to do extrude. So I'm going to go down like this. Now, Fancy did a lot with the extruding extrusion tool, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm thinking that the bottom of the club should have a, the 6-foot door, so it should be like this, but I do want it to be a little smaller than the top of the club, because I want it to like have a deck and stuff. And I got to make sure I don't come out to the side or it'll go over the edges of this boundary. Okay, so about like that, and I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to make sure that I'm on the face. Click right here, and then I'm going to extrude. Hit E to extrude. I might go in a little bit. Oh, just a little bit. Like that. Okay, that's cool. And then E to extrude more. Okay, so I'm thinking like down here's the first floor, second floor, and then if I go back to my inspiration, these are like 3 floors, most of them. I like this one, actually. Should I put that there? I don't know. I kind of like the way that this looks right here with that wide deck, and then it goes in and then out again. So I think that that's what I want to do for this. So let's hit extrude. This is the best part right here, where you can like make it come out super wide. Right, and then extrude. That's the balcony. Maybe I'll make that a little wider too. Okay, and then I have to go back in. This is like, I don't know why. If you get into extruding, Fancy, you probably feel the same. Extruding is so much fun. It's like you're playing with Play-Doh again. If any of you guys like grew up playing with Play-Doh, it's just super fun. Oops, let's make that right there. Okay, so that's going to be the porch. Or like porch. Porch sounds like something you'd have on a country home. This is a balcony, guys, because this is a cyberpunk club. All right, extrude again. And this one's got to go like out here a little bit. Okay, extrude again. Now this is the part that I think like needs to be kind of out. But that doesn't, I don't know, I don't like the way that looks. So up, maybe. I think this is where I'm going to cut into the edges. And then extrude up. Okay, so that looks kind of like an airport tower. More like an airport tower than my cool club, but let's see. So maybe it just needs to go straight up at the end. Yeah, I'll mess with it. Or maybe it's this part too. Okay, so that is like the club. That is the club. So it's kind of cool. I don't know. All right, I'm going to hollow it out. Now, everybody's going to have a different way of doing this. I know there's a different way to like hollow out your asset where you would put the doorway and walk right in. I don't know. I just kind of like the way that I do it, just because it's more. I feel like it's just more realistic kind of to building. So I'm just going to duplicate this thing, Shift D, duplicate, and then I'm going to grab just the top of this. What I have to do is just get it to like stick out of that right there. Okay, and then if I do this, I'm going to show you what I just did because it's kind of hard to see, and I can see it because I'm oops. Because I've done it before and I know what I'm doing. But like, I have two shapes here. I have cylinder and then cylinder one. And so one I'm going to use for the cutting tool and one I'm going to leave as is. However, I know that this guy, I'm going to have problems if I cut it right here because you can see right here, they're identical. When I do this, you see this part changing. That's because I made the top smaller. So what I need to do is just make all of this a fraction smaller. There's a little weirdness right there that I could probably mess with a little bit more, but I'm trying to do it just without avoiding that. All right. So now when I have these two right here, see there's like a little bit of that. What I want to have is just the top of this building sticking out so I can chop it. All right, so what I'm looking for here is that there's a little overlap. There's a little line, and that means that the building I want to keep is right here. The part I'm going to chop out is right here. And so Boolean colliders, we love our Booleans. I'm going to click the good building. I'm going to go to the wrench, the add modifier, generate Boolean eyedropper. Click my stencil tool, arrow, apply. And then hopefully that worked. There you go. So it just hollowed it out, kind of like a vase. Like I said, there's other ways to do it, but for my brain, this is like, I want to know that I could walk in here and this is like what it looks like. So if you were making something in your land, like a cup, like a teacup, or, I mean, God knows anything, like a building, a house, this is one way to hollow it out. I also want to make probably a door. It probably should be hexagon shaped down here. So I'm going to make another hexagon. I'm going to hit Shift A, cylinder, and now you'll see that it's still on 6 sides because that's what I told it last. So it's kind of nice. It stays with the last command it gave you. All right, so I want to rotate this. This is like one of those things that's got to be done perfect. So thank you for Reston to show me this, that if I turn it on its side, I can actually get it perfect down here. So there we go. I eyeballed it and got it 89.9. In reality, 90 is accurate. So that was pretty close. That was pretty close. All right. So at this point, I'm going to look at the different viewports because it's all kind of blending together because I have no textures on it, and that's fine. I'll put some textures out later. I'm going to hit S and drag just to make this bigger. Now, some of those cyberpunk clubs, they had steps going up to them, and I feel like you would kind of want steps. You don't want to just walk in. You want to arrive, my friends. So let's do that. Make room for steps. Oh, I hear my dog dreaming. He's barking in his dream. All right. let's see. So here we're gonna do the same thing to cut a shape. Loki, are you dreaming? I am live right now. You can't dream while I'm live. You can, but just you gotta be quiet, okay? Because I can hear you. Sorry. Okay, so you click the club, Boolean. Again, we're gonna go back to the wrench, add modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper. Click the part you want cut out, arrow, apply. And then when you move that, you have a cool doorway. I kind of go like that in that session because that's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 steps. It's kind of long, but in my head, I'm always like, doot, doot, doot. You know, like after a while, you just kind of do it. And I think that that's with building, you do kind of have to start moving along like in ways that you'll remember it. Like, so that's why maybe I'm like sing-songy as I'm doing it, because it's just, that right there has the most steps, I think, out of anything. So, okay, we already have a like a door into our club. We have the upstairs. Oh my gosh, it could look so cool. Oh, I hear my dog. Like, sorry guys, my animals are being so distracting today. All right, so this hex right here, I love this. Like, this is a cool shape. One thing that I want to do is add to like the inside of the club, because I think like, I don't know, like the hex, like you could take that so many different ways for theming. But what I want to do is make a repeating shape that kind of fits into itself. And let's see if I can do that. What I want to do is match. Let's do this. Let's see. If I got these two to match, that would be cool, but those two don't match. So that's not going to work. So let's just do, I'm going to do undo. Ah, I totally went too far. All right, so let's see if I can get this to match up. That's pretty close. And then I'm going to do both of those, duplicate them. This right here. Can I get, does this match? Does this match? Okay, that's pretty close. Right there. Oh, okay. That is like a pattern that you see in, I don't know, Cyberpunk, Tech, even Decentraland. Like for the Game Expo, they use the just kind of this honeycomb so much. But I really like it. I think it looks really cool. So as long as these fit together, I know this shape is good. It's gonna fit. If I want to collect all of those at once, I'm just going to click on one and then hold down the Shift key and click, 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 and then Shift D, sorry, D, Shift D for duplicate, and then I've got perfect spitting images. And like this shape right here is what I want to use all over my scene. I don't know why I can't talk today. I was thinking theme, scene. So there we go. Like we are suddenly making a ginormous grid just by using a few shapes, recycling them, and you know, right there we've got a cool grid. So what I was thinking is like the top could have that grid. So if you're down in the club, you're dancing, you're looking up here, and it's the hexagon grid. I thought that that would be really cool. So if I just leave these here, anytime I need to use this in my scene, I can just highlight them, copy, paste them wherever I need them to be. So it's kind of like a way to save time a little bit. I definitely want to use this as the floor. So I think I'm going to do a Shift D, just copied all of that. And then I'm going to do a rotate. See how close I can get it. 90? Can I get it to 90? 90.4. Okay, almost a winner. There we go. Okay, I don't know what that does. And let's put that down here for the floor. It doesn't fit perfectly. Like I can do all the chopping later to get it to fit nice. But that is, let's make it like that. Ooh, okay. That's pretty cool. If you got the hexagon on the floor. Now, let's see what we can do. I think I want to do a little bit on the outside. I'm gonna just get rid of Oh, I don't know if I could get rid of that. Yeah, those pieces I know I don't need. I would have to chop a few of these off just so they're not sticking out. But yeah, there. So I got some cool flooring in there. I could do some cool animating with that. There's so much potential. So let's see. Now that we're up here, this is going to be like a cool little porch patio. And then if I go back to my reference images, I think this is where I get stuck, is like, where do I go next? What is my next thing? Like, each one of these, they're similar, but they're very different. Like, there's, here on the left, this one is cut in. This one, it's an image. This one just has windows. So I have to, I think that this is where like builders have to decide what is it that you want to really have here. And I like the idea of having it like you can see in, but maybe you can't see the whole club. You can just see like some stuff. Some stuff is going on in there. Like if you had flashing lights then, it would be really cool because you'd be like getting a little flavor of the party without like you gotta go in to see the whole thing. Let's see. Okay, so that means what am I gonna cut? These are actually very, very, very different. So maybe I should put the sign on the top and then right there have the windows. So that means I want to cut a window out right here, and this is a very irregular shape that's already been moved around. So to do that, I'm going to need a cutting tool. I'm going to need a cube because that's 4 sides. And I'm going to need it to be smaller on the bottom than it is on the top. So those are all like challenges, right? I'm going to make sure it goes through. I can just, if I'm not sure if it goes all the way through, just make it a little wider. I'm going to get it the size of my walls right here. And I'm constantly moving this around because it's just hard to see, in 3D. So that's just one thing to remember. You are always moving your stuff around with that middle scroll wheel. All right, so I could keep sizing this while I'm in object mode, but I think it's going to be a better idea to go to edit mode and then grab just this top face, and I can just pull it up to there, and then I can grab the side and then just eyeball it. I'm an eyeballer. Don't ever like live in a house that I build because it is not to spec, it is eyeballed, which is good. I'm a really good builder. I love building IRL. I'm actually a really good builder. I built a pirate ship in my backyard, and it is so good. It is so strong still. I was on it last week. I'm like, this thing is, I don't know, 10 years old, and it's still like weight bearing for a grown adult. Not that I know any of those. All right, so that is like a good size. I'm going to use that as a cutting tool. So I'm going to grab, again, my club, the modifier, the wrench, add modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, your thing you're going to cut, the arrow, apply. There you go. You should have a window. Sometimes that doesn't work, and there's a few things that make it not work. But that did, so that's good. I like it. It's good. It's good. So I could, that one was easy because a cube just lines up. Nothing's been rotated. To get this to like perfectly match and do the same thing right here. Actually, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to duplicate this before I rotate it, put it over there because I might need that again. That's one thing I like to do is save copies of everything so that if you have to do it again, it's already like right there. Yeah, it's such a pain in the butt to do it any other way, but oh my gosh, that looks really, that looks like it fits really well. So again, big object, modifier, add modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, hit the thing you want, arrow, apply. And, woo! Okay, it's looking like a plane tower, not a cyberpunk party, but it'll get there. It'll get there. All right, one more time. I'm only gonna put 3 of these windows in. Let's see if I can eyeball it straight on. If I get lucky this time. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think it needs to be a little further on this side. Nobody's gonna notice. Okay, last time. Modifier, generate boolean, eyedropper, piece, arrow, apply. And I'm gonna move that out. I'm not throwing these away. Just FYI, I generally just start like piling up my build. It's like a work site. It's like a real work site. I just pile my trash up on the side. Because if I need to put a window right here and I want to get it like exactly the right size, I'm going to have to do all that over again. Or I could just take this guy, put it right there, get it lined up, of course, but then just change the texture and it's glass. And so I think that that's like a good way to do it too. All right, so here we go. Do is make the texture on this black because I do kind of want to see what it looks like. There we go. Oh, I didn't say anything what I was doing, did I? I hate that. Sorry, guys. Okay, so sometimes I just move fast and I don't think about it, but I forgot I'm teaching the class here. Okay, so click the thing that you want to have colored. Up here, you'll have different viewports. This is the easiest to work with when you're sculpting by far, but if you want to see what it actually looks like in world, it's these other 2, and then primarily this one. There's also, I don't even, that one, wireframe. That can be really good to see like where all your vertices are, but for now, we're going to be on this one, so I'm going to click on our piece, go down here to the Materials tab, I'm going to hit New, and it's Principled BSDF. That is your default material, and that works for like any surface, really, if you just want like basic stuff. You can get fancy. You can get fancy. If you click in here, like emission, glass, I mean, there's some crazy stuff. So knock yourself out, have fun. I'm like, that's kind of like experiment land when you go in there. But if you want this thing, whatever color you want, this is as easy, you know, it's easy or as hard as it has to be. But I want mine black. Do I want it black or do I want it like tiny shade of something? I think I want it black. Also, what you see here is the color is not necessarily what it's going to look like in world. And the hardest one I think to get is brown, like a good brown. If you notice some of my emotes, like the swing, I had that brown. Like when I made it, it was a good brown. And then when it's exported, it's like red or orange. So if I was making brown, I don't know, it'd be like, that's brown. So just know that like what Decentraland picks up, it's going to be a little different. So test it out. Like go see what it actually looks like. Otherwise, you might be surprised because I didn't notice the difference until I went to publish, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted it to look like. But you know, it works. Okay, so there's our cyberpunk club, and it looks so much cooler with the black. You know, like that's way cooler. All right, so let's see. We need a roof on here, I think. We need like the ceiling. And I said I thought it would be cool to be able to look up and see like the hex shape in a repeating pattern up there. But let's throw some like purple, of course, in there. So I need to make a roof. I'm going to make sure I'm in object mode. Click Shift A and back to a cylinder. Lovely. It's still 6 sides because we haven't changed anything. I'll make it about that big. Hit S to size it. There you go. That's about all I gotta do. And at this point now, it's kind of hard again. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's hard to see, so I might go back to this viewport over here just to get like the right kind of contrast. All right, so what I want to do is use these guys as a cutting shape. Oh, but wouldn't it be cool if it was like, ooh, symmetrical? My brain's going like, maybe we could do a big honeycomb shape. I don't know. We could go nuts with that, but maybe also like, oh, this would be a good place to have lights, all sorts of flashing stuff. We don't need to do that yet. Let's just stick with it simple for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of them, do Shift D, just to, copy them. It's more than I need, I know, but that's okay. I'm going to turn it sideways, see how close I can get it, and then 90.4, so I'm pretty good at that. I did notice it changed, but it doesn't matter. And then to make sure that they're thick enough, I'm gonna have to like do that. Boom. And I actually think in order to make this a nice design, I have to make these a little bit bigger so that they've got to cut through. It's kind of hard to see it. I'm gonna maybe bring all of this up. They have to cut through this guy, so they've got to be thicker than that. All right, all that, and let's see. Okay, so I don't think it's symmetrical yet. I am a sucker for symmetry. I love mess and like chaos, but man, the world's just better when it's symmetrical. My brain has two very opposing views. All right, I think right there. So there's probably a better way to do this, but I'm going to first of all, I'm trying to think. Do I hide the piece? All right, so like if I want to grab the roof that I know I put in here, but if I click right here, I'm clicking on the whole building. Or if I'm really good, I like tiny, I could try to grab it because there's like I could see a little glimpse of it right there. But also if I just click on the building and then I click again, it sees through the building that I don't. So I can grab that little asset in there and make it show up. What I want to do is kind of make it the exact size of this. Just so I don't, yeah, it's just easier that way. Okay, so right about there. And now I'm going to hide this building. If I don't want to deal with that, like I'll come back to it, but right now I don't need it, and it's in the way of my site. Actually, I'm going to delete these guys first. I'm going to delete the ones that I'm not going to need because they're just going to distract me. Okay, but these four, oh, that guy doesn't need to be there. Anything that sticks through. All right. So I'm going to delete this building and just hide it by clicking on the eye right over here because I don't need that. I don't need it. It's not helping me. So I'm going to get rid of it. Now, there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm going to just do like Boolean collider. I'm going to cut these. So there we go. And this is why I think you when you're using a collider, or the cutting tool, it is a collider. I don't know. It's, right? Add modifier, generate Boolean modifier. I don't know why I was calling it a collider. But when you're using it a lot, you're just going to get good at like chopping it out. And in my experience, see how this is tedious and I'm doing it one at a time? If I were to highlight all of these, it doesn't work for me. And I haven't ChatGPT'd it to figure out why not yet. So I'm just going to go through here and do these. Sometimes, yes, there's things that I do that are like tedious and they take longer. And that's just kind of, I don't know, my brain is like, that's okay. It's good to get it right and not worry about like complicating it. So if you're ever doing this and something happens and your your scene will suddenly disappear. And I was also trying to get that to happen, but it didn't happen. Sometimes it'll disappear. It's so common and it's so annoying, and the fix is so ridiculously easy. It's it's like, 1 second. It's this right here, solver options. So put this in your, like, write this down. I swear to you, there's a few things that have helped me more than anything else, and this is one of them. If you're doing this Boolean cutout tool and it disappears, do this. Solver options, self-intersection. Solver options, self-intersection. That's how useful that is. Because what happens sometimes is if there's too many shapes and Blender's trying to render it, it basically is like Blender just freezes. It just like chokes. It can't figure out what do you want me to do. And by hitting self-intersection, it just says, hey, just do what I said, honey. And it will do it. Sounds so simple, but that one is a lifesaver. That right there, I'm like, oh, so many times it's helped me. All right, so I think we have like 3 more to cut, but let's just leave. No, I'll do it. My brain is kind of like, where am I at? All right, 1. Yeah, I am bullying too much, guys. I'm being a bully. 2, 3. This is why, even though it looks like a bunch of steps, all you gotta do is do this for like 1 build, and suddenly you'll never forget it. You'll be doing this stuff in your sleep. And I really do have to figure out how to do this on multiple shapes. But by the time I did that, look, we're already done. Now, let's grab all that. This guy is our stencil shape. Did we forget one? We forget one. We did. So instead of trying to eyeball it, I'm going to do Control Z, just that one. Okay. And again, I do Control Z because it gets it back exactly where it needs to be. Nothing else. All right. So now these guys, I'm going to put them over on my workspace. I'm going to find my building again. Where did my building go? There it is. And I'm going to lift that up. And boom! Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And it'll be even more gorgeous if it is the right text, the right color. So I'm going to click on the honeycomb shape. I'm going to go back to materials, but this time I'm not going to make a new one. I'm going to click right here. And that's going to let me use, see, I already have 2 black materials in there. And I shouldn't have 2 black. I don't need 2 black. So I'm going to actually see what I used. I'm going to click on this, and it shows material 2. So just to make sure I don't have like 1,000 textures, I'm just going to use material 2. So that's how you can tell what material you've already used on something. Click it. This will come up. You can recycle and like reuse textures, which is really nice. Like if you have a texture that you love, like a beautiful glass, I would say save it and call it glass sample. And then anytime you need to use that, you can send that to yourself. And all you got to do is send it to yourself, and it's in here, which is like such a game changer, such a lifesaver. Let's do another hexagon. Excuse me, another hexagon. Put it up there. Let's make this our glass. Right? And like, I want to look up there and see through it. Ooh, look at that. It's looking good. Right? Because like, if you can look through, if you're in a club in Decentraland, I don't know what clubs in the real world are like, because I wouldn't go there in the real world, just in the virtual. Just kidding. I would love to look through here and see the clouds of Decentraland going by. I think there's something really vibrant when you can see that, when like there's still movement from the clouds and everything going through Decentraland. If there's stuff in the sky, you can still see that. You still have that attachment, which I think is cool. Okay, so if I want this to be see-through, I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm not gonna hit glass, actually. I mean, I could, but I just, one thing that you can do is just play with these. I'm gonna do like, I don't know, zero point 0.2 on the alpha. So look, right there, you can already see through it. Um, so you don't have to get crazy with the glass. You just do that, and then you can see I've already added some new material, but now I want it pretty, I want it pink. So you click on that. I used to tell my students when I would teach them painting, do you want it pink or do you want pink? Like, what kind of pink are we talking? I'm thinking that. And again, it's gonna look different in Decentraland, so I might need a little bit different. Um, you can get crazy with all of these like different settings now. Uh, Shout out Dr. Drip. He told me, he let me know that specular exists. I don't know if we want that on here or not, but it kind of gives a little reflection. And then if I were you, I would just go to ChatGPT. My kids make so much fun of me because they have problems in school, and I'm like, honey, we could ask ChatGPT. And they're like, Mom, stop. They're like literally at the point where they're hating me for how much I talk to ChatGPT. But honestly, look at, if you want a nice glass texture, I would say tell ChatGPT, I'm making a texture for Decentraland. Be very specific, because ChatGPT it knows the limitations, for Decentraland. Say, I want a cool texture, make it as shiny as possible. So then I would just start, like, you could just start playing with this stuff. Like, I don't know, ooh, metallic. Ooh, I don't know what that did, but that looks cool. Gosh. Ooh, I really don't know what that did. Like that's some cool stuff. It looks dark. It looks really cool. So I guess I'll find out later what that actually did. But play with these. Experiment. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which ones to use or tell you go to, this glass setting, because I've come up with like crazy textures just by experimenting. Oh, and then don't forget to save it, because I've also lost those textures and been like, how did I do that? It's like a recipe, and you have a recipe and you forget how to do it. Okay, but I need to add some glowy stuff, because no cyberpunk place is official without glowing, like yeah, glowing. Oh, and I do see Fancy asked, can you join them to make one object and then use, so like, could I have joined these and then use those as one object? No, Fancy, no. It seems like you should be able to do that, doesn't it? And that's why I didn't do it. It doesn't, I bet it's like one setting, literally one setting that I need to figure out. I just don't know what it is. And I just do it this way, like, I don't know. But because sometimes, okay, to go back, so what Fancy is asking, just to be crystal clear, is like, if you want to use all these as a cutting tool, if I select them all, right click, join. See, that didn't even join them. Sometimes, like, I can't join them unless I do like half of them and then the other half. It's weird. So now this whole thing is one. Watch, I bet it'll work, but usually it doesn't. Like, if I go up here and I click and I do the Boolean and I do this, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh, I quit. I quit. Fancy, I don't know. Usually it doesn't work for me. Wow, I suck at this, you guys. Next week, Fancy's gonna teach. Because yeah, that usually doesn't happen. That is usually where you get this problem where everything disappears and you have to use the self-intersect. So I don't know, guys. Usually it doesn't work. My goodness, I suck. Okay. But we'll move on. Fancy and I are gonna have a good laugh about that. All right, so I'm gonna duplicate this. I want to make it glow now, so I want to see what it looks like. It still has this cool, like, nighttime texture. So, oh, this is where it's kind of hard. You really have to toggle between. I want this barely sticking out. Okay, so that I can see pretty well. But then when it comes down to the textures, I want to make this glow. And for this one, like, all you have to do to get rid of the see-through texture, just hit minus, takes it away. Now I am going to go into this and make emission, because emission is like brightness. It's going to make it bright. And then you can play with the strength. Like 5 is pretty good. It's gonna blind you. Like 10, I don't even know. 10 is like the Coast Guard is gonna come. They're gonna think that you're in distress. So that's really bright, and this is another good way to see that. I only want that part of it. Okay, but I want it to be cyberpunk purple, right? And this is another one where if you're like looking at this and you want it that color, when you actually see it in Decentraland, it's going to be way lighter. So for emission colors, I'd say make it dark. Make it really dark. Because you have to kind of like override that brightness that emission is bringing to the table. All right. So I want to make this, but right now it's a full shape. So I kind of have to like chop it a little smaller. So I'm going to do shift duplicate. I'm going to make it smaller. Make this part come up. I'm going to go that so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab the piece I want. Monkey wrench, modifier, generate, boolean, eyedropper, piece I want cut, arrow, apply. And then I'm going to get rid of that. That way when I drop it down, it's not going to get in the way of that beautiful, like, translucent stuff. Okay, so now I can do this. I can put a few of these. I can duplicate it and make it, like, smaller. That guy might not fit, actually. But looks good for now. I can shift D, duplicate again, make it like, that looks cool. That like maybe is like the railing. Not sure if this is like the floor of the balcony, or I think I would actually cut it maybe, but we'll see. And then duplicate. This is why, like, if you work and it's like symmetrical, you can just make it really fast just by, like, you know, duplicate, 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 duplicate all the way. Ooh, that looks cool. Let's make that guy smaller so it fits in there. Right. And duplicate down. And just keep toggling to like the view that gives you the best image. Because sometimes it's, you know, when there's no color, sometimes it's when it's like these. And actually, this one I'm going to duplicate so I don't have to resize it. I'm always looking for ways to make it just one step quicker. I think learning how to like work efficiently and save time on your builds is a lifesaver. You have to, like, when you're getting into big builds like Mount Mana, I had to find ways to work quicker. Otherwise, I'm going to be there forever. Okay, so there we go. In 1 hour, we made Club Hex, or a Hex Club. I like Hex Club because then everybody's going to say, have you been to the new Hex Club? And then they're going to think you said something else. And I just think that's funny. All right, but I need to put the name on it. So Control A, a little cylinder, move that over. And for this one, I actually want to put the name on it. And I'm going to do it before I rotate it, probably. So material, add, base color. Right here, if you click on the little yellow dot, image texture, and open, and then you can see all of the good little things, and then hopefully you'll find one that you have made ahead of time. Okay, and then this is probably the part where, if you've been here for other weeks, this is review, but this might be a little bit complicated if you're just learning, Blender. So I'm going to click on it, I'm going to go into edit mode, and then go into, I'm actually going to go and click this guy right here, because that's going to let me do the X-ray, and just make sure I have the whole thing highlighted. Then UV editing, and this is the part that's scary, guys. This is where I used to run. I'd see this, and I was like, I can't unwrap UV editing. I'm running away. But it turns out I can, and it's actually really, really easy. But you're going to want to pull this to the side so you can, for some reason, this is such a stupid default. Go back to this. You have to do it again. It like defaults to the gray scene. Okay, we can do this. Let's everybody say it with me. We can unwrap stuff in Blender. All you have to do is highlight all that, pull it over there, and then you're still like, wait a second, I can't, oh, it's sideways. Like, I don't want that. Sorry. I'm all into special effects and voices. So here we go. It's pretty close. All you have to do is do S for size, and again, just like play with it. Just experiment. Up, down. You'll notice it's like the opposite. When you go, it's like life. When you want to go up, life goes down. When you're going down, life goes up. So just remember, it's just going to be the opposite of whatever you want to do. Just because it's like making it that hard for you. What it really is doing is just you're telling it where you want this image to show up. When I made the waffle cart yesterday, guys, it did not work in the morning, and I had too high a texture count, so I had to totally retexture that waffle cart yesterday, by hand, and like such a pain in the butt. But I learned more about texturing. Okay, so to me, in my symmetrical mind, where everything is good and perfect with the world, this is not it, and so this is where I'm also like, you don't have to be perfect, for the sake of just like doing the YouTube tutorial. But in my brain, I would sit here all day and be like, no, it's got to be perfect. But what I want it to do is actually, I want it a little bit bigger. I want more space. So now I gotta go fix that. I want it right in the middle. And that stuff is tedious. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so this in the middle looks good. On the sides it doesn't. And we're at 10 o'clock, you guys. This is 1 hour of work. And I like to keep it at 1 hour just to keep, just to promise to you guys not to take all your day and just to cut it. But I think it's easy enough that I'll show you how to clean up the sides of this, because it's so easy. Mr. J taught me this, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Because like, you can tell if it's stretched on the side, you can be like, oh, somebody's still learning Blender, because I can still see that on all of my stuff. So all you got to do, grab your object, go into edit mode, and then this is maybe where you want to shut the X-ray off, because otherwise you might grab a face on the other side. You just want to click, oh, it clicked the line up there. So I forgot, I need to be on a face. So face 1, hold down the shift key now, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that little bugger back there, 6. Oh, and let's do the bottom, 7. So now I'm going to leave the front. Actually, it would have been easier to highlight everything and just undo the front, but whatever. Go into UV editing. Let's turn so we can see it. And now we can decide like what color we want all of this. And really all you got to do is make it like super small, because that's going to make it all the same color. It doesn't care. Like, it doesn't care how big it is. If I want, see how small that like bright green is? I could make all of this bright green. But at this size, you can see it's getting like these pixels, but then those. So here's what you do. It's like your Ant-Man. You can make it that big. And that's the part that at first didn't make sense to me. Like, what the heck? Like, shouldn't it be, the size of, like, it should be gargantuan. But all you need is like a couple pixels of color, and you can just change this to be like that. So play around with it. I think it'll make more sense once you play around. I do actually think that that's too bright. Like it doesn't look good. Let's do this green in here. How's that? That might still kind of look like Dookie. Yeah, kind of think it should be, I think it should be black. So here's the other way I can select all of that. If I just do that, grab it all, you can see it's gonna, yeah, I missed these on this side. So just hit that X-ray tool, grab it all, and then if you're careful, you can just undo the top. And that's a quicker way just to grab all your stuff. Okay, and then just move it into the black. And I think that, oh yeah, that's what it's about. That's cooler. And now I have to rotate it. So, see how close can I get to 90? 90.7, okay. Pretty close. It's good enough for a house, right? I think I've told you the joke before. My brother's an airplane mechanic or airplane machinist inspector. And so I'm like, you probably have to get it like really close, like 1/16 of an inch. And he just looked at me, this judging older brother, and he's like, it's like 1/10,000th of an inch. Like he's, yeah. So I'm like, when we build the house, he'll be in charge of like the structural parts. I'll be in charge of making it beautiful. So there we go. We got our name, the Hex Club. So cool. You can see, like, look at how it almost looks white right there. I don't want that. I want it to be like dark. This just looks like a shiny, cheap material. Like it looks like it was printed on some Temu stuff. So what I want to do is find specular. It's Dr. Drip taught me the way. 0. And like, boom, right there. That looks cool. That looks way better. I have no idea what it does, specular. I don't know. But it just makes it look that much better. Alright, where should I put this sucker? And then we're going to be done. Let's see. Hex. Like, that is cool. And then there was another one of these that had hex, 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 hex. Which is kind of cool, too. Like, just to be so in love with your branding that it's just all over your build. I think for today, I'll just put it here. There we go. And that's it. Oh, look at how dark that is. Whoa. Okay. It's gonna look, so this is why it's interesting. Sometimes in world, this viewport is more accurate, but then sometimes this one is more accurate. And for this, I would say this one is going to be more accurate. So I can get rid of these planes. I don't need those. The floor down there, I still need to like add a collider so that you can step onto it. But I think I'll wait on that. And here we go, you guys. It is 10:05, so in 1 hour, we built the Hex Club. If you have something you want to build in Decentraland and you're not sure what it is, I don't know, hopefully this is helpful, just seeing like how quickly you can take an idea from AI, my best friend, ChatGPT, or something else. I use Photoleap. You can use it just to kind of get yourself started. And from there, like you can see how much of this I took from those images, but a lot of it I didn't. I took it from my head. But the AI, using AI for inspiration is so, I think, vital for just getting something on Blender, on paper, getting something started. Because it's so intimidating, like getting started. But yeah, I would like to put windows here. I'd like to make like pink windows. I have other ideas inside. I want to have like, you know, cool DJ booths, stuff like that. But for 1 hour, we're gonna stop here. The Hex Club. What do you think? Should I make it a real club in Decentraland, or does somebody want to put this on their land and see the Hex? What kind of trouble can the Hex get into? I think that'd be fun. So I'm gonna jump over to Decentraland now, and answer questions if anybody has them. Is there a badge to claim? No, there isn't, because Sinful and we did a little rearranging of land, and I lost the build. Like, I can't deploy this scene because there's one parcel of land that he just needs to redelegate back to me. So if I would have put this scene in, it wouldn't let me deploy. And the badge was live last week. So if you guys, I think most people got it last week. I can always just deploy it. Yeah, after he gets home, I'll and we get our land thing figured out. I can redeploy, and I'll let you guys know. Okay, let's see. Any other questions, or maybe just laughing at me because of my collider, my Boolean issue? Okay, let's see. Cantina, Moffer, I'm coming for you. Moffer is my nemesis. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? I'll just hang out for a second. Otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for showing up. If you guys have questions or you want to learn something specific, let me know. Every week I'm kind of coming up with ideas, for things that either work for Winterfest. That was really nice to have a bunch of stuff, to build for Winterfest. Right now I'm working on something a little bit more secret, so I'm not going to build publicly like I like to. I'm going to build privately, because evil plans must be built in private. But if you guys have an idea for something and you want to be let's build this together, let me know, because I am happy to build, happy to show you guys. That's how we make cool stuff, or emotes, or anything. Oh, thank you, Peace. Peace says, thanks, Knessa, so much for making this. I learn every time a small piece and work every time on things. Peace, I love hearing that, because that's literally how I learn. You saw me learn something today. I'm not, yeah, we're all still learning and getting better. Making custom terrain, Fancy, I think could do it, but tips would be reassuring. Let's go. Let's make some terrain. Yeah. Custom terrain is it can be really fun, and it can be really frustrating. Yeah, I too would love to learn custom terrain and get that, getting better at it. Usually it's an icosphere, the shape in Blender. I use an icosphere and then I kind of build up from there. But I don't know that that's the best way to do it either. So I would also like to build out a world with cool terrain in a DCL world. And I've got a couple, Flanders Fields is a good one to go to, and then I think Furiosa is another one that I've got a little bit of build world on it. But thank you, Fancy. Let's tackle that next time. Let's do it. All right. Otherwise, I'm gonna let you guys have a good day. Reminders: the Pudgy Penguin email is still available at -89, -85. OpenSea has been crashing every time I try to send out the recent ones. So if you did claim it yesterday and you haven't gotten it yet, it's because OpenSea is being kind of funny. And then thank you everybody for coming, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day, everybody. Bye. Day, everybody. Bye.